Massive protests across Brazil. Less than a year into her second term, Brazilian President Dilma Rousseff is facing new calls for her impeachment. Amid a troubled economy and the massive Petrobras bribery scandal, Rousseff's approval rating has sunk to 8%. CCTV's Lucrecia Franco has more from Rio de Janeiro.
It was the third mass protest against President Dilma Rousseff this year. Fora Dilma! Fora Dilma! Shouting out Dilma, crowds of hundreds of thousands marched Sunday in cities across Brazil to call for her impeachment. Most of the anger fueled by a perception of widespread corruption and the reality of an eroding economy.
Take Dilma out. Take out the Workers' Party because it has lost all credibility and it doesn't attract investors. We're falling into a downward spiral, and the only solution we see here is to get rid of this government.
The protests come as an investigation into rampant bribery at state-owned giant Petrobras has widened to include ever more of the country's leading politicians and construction barons. While Rousseff herself has not been charged in the case, many of her critics say she shoulders some blame because she chaired Petrobras for 7 years before becoming president.
Either she didn't know, and that means administrative misconduct, so she can't rule the country, or she colluded with the graft and doesn't deserve to rule the country.
But Rousseff remains defiant. In a national broadcast last week, she signaled she will not step down.
The massive demonstrations made headlines in Brazil and abroad, but most analysts believe the case against Rousseff falls short of legal requirements for impeachment.
The options would be an impeachment, with all the problems with the judicial system and the lack of a strong basis to do that, or if the political crisis reached such a point that Dilma's choices would be to renounce the presidency. These would be the two big choices. And I don't think that the Brazilian political leadership is going to choose that.
Angry voters may impact opinions on President Rousseff, but they alone cannot force an impeachment. That in Brazil would take a 2/3 agreement by Congress to open impeachment hearings. Lucrecia Franco, CCTV, Rio de Janeiro.